The Israelis don't represent the Jewish communities of the world. They represent Zionism and racism. It must be said here, whoever supports them supports racism.
South Africa has called for the International Criminal Court, ICC, to issue a warrant of arrest for Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and other key decision-makers in Tel Aviv for alleged contraventions of international law in the war in Gaza. Israel's actions in Gaza, according to South Africa's Minister of International Relations, Lady Naledi Pandor, were clear reminders of those carried out during the country's apartheid era. Pandor made this statement when speaking to the National Assembly on Tuesday, November 7. She continued by recommending that Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, and all of his aides be placed under arrest by the International Criminal Court. She stated that South Africa was deeply troubled by the ongoing deaths of children and defenseless civilians in the Palestinian territories, and that they thought Israel was now responding with collective punishment. Later that day, Khumbudzo Ntshavheni, the South African minister in the presidency, declared that his country had withdrawn its diplomatic mission from Tel Aviv out of protest, calling the current bombing assault in Gaza genocide in the making. He also said that Israel's ambassador to South Africa, Eli Balatsarkowski, might be expelled due to his remarks regarding the crisis. One of the more perceptive voices on the Israeli state is that of Dr. Mbrizeni Ndlozi, a member of parliament for the Economic Freedom Fighters, who audaciously claims that the basis of the state is basic racism. Ndlozi stressed as a spokesperson of the opposition party that the current problems are not just a religious battle, but a wicked one as well. He also asserted that no one had the right to be better than others.
The Israelis don't represent the Jewish communities of the world. They represent Zionism and racism. It must be said here, whoever supports them supports racism.
He went further to say that South Africa could not be friends with a racist country like Israel, and encouraged that the Israel ambassador be fired. Julius Malema has fearlessly expressed viewpoints that might not sit well with everyone, but may hold some undeniable truths. He said,
"When you are oppressed, the only option you have is to fight. And that's what Hamas is doing. They are fighting for their freedom. Mandela did the same thing, took up the guns and fought for the freedom of the people of South Africa."
South Africa was not fighting against individuals in Israel, but the whole state of Israel. He went further to affirm what Ndlozi said earlier concerning apartheid. He said when he was 9 years old, people came into their house and stripped his mother naked. So, when he sees what is happening to the children in Israel, he can immediately relate and confirm that it is apartheid. He went further to say that South Africa is an oppressed nation, and wherever they find someone oppressed, that person is to be considered as their family. This is because no one is free until the whole world is free from imperialism and colonialism, he specified. In light of the current threats of a nuclear bombardment of children and the Western-backed genocide against the Palestinian people, South Africa has also called back Israeli officials to evaluate its relations with their country. The foreign minister said that the failure of the international community to hold Israel to account and to stop the impunity and genocide acts that the Israel government is doing to the Palestinian people will mean a total collapse of a multilateral system. This will also mean the collapse of global governance system. Why is the United States not stopping all these bombings? They are instead supporting Israel. If the international community does not join hands in stopping this conflict, each country will be forced to take matters into their own hands. This might spark up a bigger conflict. Take note that South Africa had called upon the international community, particularly the United Nations, to deploy a rapid protection force aimed at safeguarding the lives of civilians in the region. This call for decisive action highlights South Africa's long-standing commitment to peace and human rights, drawing poignant parallels between the struggles faced by Palestinians and South Africans during the apartheid era, which came to an end in 1994. So far, Israel's genocide in Gaza has resulted to the death of over 8,000 Palestinians, hundreds of thousands injuries, and many have also been displaced. At least 40% of those killed in Gaza were children. South Africa stands out from many other countries due to its deployment of a protection force and its advocacy for direct engagement to guarantee civilian safety. South Africa is promoting a proactive strategy to deal with the issues and safeguard the community that is most at risk. After a devastating strike by the Islamist group Hamas, Gaza has reached a critical point, leading Israel to further up its blockade and bombardment of the area. Numerous lives were lost as a result of this, including a sizable number of civilians and children. Given the number of children slain, the world must demonstrate that it takes global accountability seriously. South Africa's President, Cyril Ramaphosa, has taken a proactive role in addressing the crisis, offering to mediate in the conflict and engage in diplomatic efforts to facilitate the delivery of aid to Gaza. A week after the Hamas incursion into southern Israel, Ramaphosa led a 60-party delegation of Palestinian supporters, wearing the black and white checkered keffiyeh and waving Palestinian flags. Despite these initiatives, the violence and loss of lives still continue, prompting South Africa to call for stronger international intervention. In these challenging times, South Africa is standing firm to its commitment to peace and justice. One thing Lady Naledi Pandor said that struck people was that the ICC was very quick to act when the territory of Ukraine was occupied by Russia, but has been conspicuously quiet over Israel's breaches of international law in its assault on Gaza. What should African leaders do to support Palestine or end the ongoing conflict? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do not forget to like this video and subscribe to the New Tourist channel. Turn on notifications too so you get notified whenever we upload videos like this. Thanks for watching and see you in our next video.